because it's hidden under a pile of shit.
Good evening and welcome to the Chairsofter Show, your fortnightly Airsoft podcast by Players for Players. We're going to invite our guest in a little while because, things have been happening over the last couple of days that we'd like to address as part of the show. So we just want to keep the two halves of the show separately, basically. So without further ado, I think news and discussion. People who've been following social media for the last few days are going to know what's been going on. For those who don't know, basically, it came out earlier in the week that, someone Chesley straight in there with a pun already. So basically, people we know, the situation with ourselves, with F&O, we had a player... Well, actually, another player on behalf of said player approach us on the show regarding the incident. We've obviously looked at things a bit more objectively since joining in with the meme war, particularly me and Adam. With regards to... so, for those who don't know the history, basically, I left a review of their site and got banned from the site just for leaving a constructive, positive review of... an absolute shit show of a day at one of their sites. We went through the good points and the bad points, and Jamie decided to make false allegations against us on the show because Keith was with us at the time as well, saying that we were sponsored by a rival site and that's why we'd done the review and blah, 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 blah. A year and a bit's passed. You know, we still go on for the memes and say things, but other than that, generally, they do what they do and we do what we do. And it came up, so fast forward to last weekend, must have been Sunday or Monday that the story broke. Where a player had attended an F&O site. His riff just been upgraded. He's dropped probably about $1,000 into it. Was it a Crytek P90?
Yeah, Crytek P90.
Had it all upgraded, and he took it to Chrono, and it was ever so slightly over the site limits.
Okay, we say not regular.
Yeah, we'll say site limits because F&O's site limits are slightly different to other sites. The reasoning I don't necessarily agree with, but at the end of the day, as it was sort of said, it's their site, it's their train set, it's their rules. If they want to put the FPS limits lower, Craig, I'm trying to do a serious bit here. Shut the fuck up in the comments. At the end of the day, it's their prerogative. If they want to make the site limits lower, regardless of the reason why, regardless if we think it's bullshit or not,
you got to respect their
site limits. You know,
if you want to play there, you've got to fall within their limit.
Yeah, one thing I would say with regards to their site limits is they need to review the consistency of their chronos because they claim to have the best ones on the market, and there was a significant difference between all three of them at the site in question when we went there for one of the guys in our team, funny enough, Keith. But yeah, so this guy's gun was over the limit, fair enough. Really, Chrono with a Coke can, Dom saying, yeah, I've heard that one as well. So basically, the long and the short of it is at that point it should have been, you can't use the gun today, put it away, you don't use it for the day. As anyone at another site would be, you could try setting hop in case you haven't said it, because I fell foul of that the first time I ever played a game at the mall. I had a brand new gun, I didn't even really know about hop then or how to set the hop at the time, and I couldn't use it. I went to another site, someone actually helped me out and helped me set it all up, and it was fine. I'm ignoring Chesney at the moment in the comments.
Just don't read them.
Do you know what? I'm actually going to hide the chat for now because I'm trying to do a serious bit here. because I don't want to dwell on this too long because
We want to get our guest on.
we want to get our guest back in because he's sitting patiently in the sidelines. So it turned out that basically Jamie said, "Look, I know a quick fix for this that can get you using your gun through the day." He then proceeded to drill a small hole into the air nozzle. This then basically rendered the gun useless because it's been damaged, the air seal's broken. So now the guy's been left with a £1,000 gun that he can't use properly, and because it's been modified by someone else, the text in question, I believe it was Tactical Geordies, so quite rightly said, no, someone else has messed with it, therefore our warranty with yourself is null and void, our guarantee on the parts.
Yeah, which is understandable.
It's their prerogative, and at the end of the day,
completely understandable.
Yeah.
I believe
Someone else has punched with it.
And see what you can do though, which is good of him. So.
Yeah, it's obviously left the lad in a bit of a tight spot now. Obviously, my personal opinion to start with is that the worrying part of this was that it was stated by Jamie that he's done this numerous times. So how many other people has he messed with their guns and fucked them up? Is my first thought.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My second thought, really, I mean, I feel for the guy, but at the end of the day, if you buy a gun, you want to know basic features like if there is a quick change spring in it, because there is on the Crytek P90, and it could have saved all of this drama, all of this hassle that's been going on in the last week.
Yeah, but they're saying that some people, like even me, I remember, like even still now, when I get a new gun, I don't necessarily pay attention to all that. I just do what they just give you the basics, say battery, ammo, plug in and play, basically.
Is this maybe another topic for discussion then? People not knowing what they're buying.
It is. I admit, even hands up, even I've done it. I've bought a gun, and it actually took quite a while for me to actually look into it a bit more. But I'm not a gun tech. I don't know everything about them whatsoever. So I can understand from his point of view. But a person with experience, if someone came up to me, if I went to a marshal and said, "Look, I don't know what to do. I really want to play," and they said, "Do this," I'd be like, "Are you sure?" Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? You trust them. That's their experience.
Yeah, what's sort of common sense to us might not be common sense to other people, might it?
No.
It's maybe an education thing as well then. It's maybe just an educational thing, sort of saying to people, look, if you buy this, you look for these features on your RIF, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So because the guy, he said he's been playing about a year, so he isn't really going to know that much about what you're looking into.
It sounds like
I don't claim to. We've got Dom coming in a minute. He's probably going to say some of the specs of his guns, and I'm just going to be like, Adam, you translate for me.
Sorry, he's seen. You got the comments up on you.
Chesney, no, I'm putting that on because he should be fucking ashamed of that. Chesney saying, "Would you let someone drill your missus' nope, so don't let them drill your riff." Fuck's sake! And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, we can't have nice things.
Sorry, I can't control that one.
But yeah, so I'm going to pour some Fireball for this because
Oh, there we go.
Why not?
No, honestly, like the meme game was absolutely fire after this. I'm not going to lie. There was images of people changing the website and that. One thing that I did find highly amusing was the other day on the F&O page, they'd commented about how any constructive feedback, something along those lines, was appreciated and welcomed, which I'm like, really?
That was red rag to a bull for you, wasn't it, Andy? Let's be honest.
It was. I will admit, I've been guilty of it in the last week because there have been some red rag to a bull moments in the last week, as Adam says. But, at the end of the day, for me, it was always going to be that way, in a sense, because I took that whole incident last year personally because I'd done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
In that situation. So I'm naturally going to go on the defence against F&O. It's only now we've sort of had time to sit down and look at things logically and that we actually can see both sides of the argument. And the way that Jamie has been treated, there has been a lot of really extreme cases of abuse in it. Regardless of which side you fall on in the argument, some of it has been quite extreme.
Yeah, so
I also feel for the guy.
He's been getting a
Could be
battering.
done in any situation, really.
Yeah, and it's still ongoing now. So I'm seeing more and more memes as the day comes on. And as I said, some of them have been fire. Chesney saying here that he believes the tech has posted that he will sort it.
I saw
which,
that,
if he is, then fair play to him, because he doesn't have to. He has no right to. But fair play to him for helping that guy out.
Yeah, that's really good of him.
Chesney saying that they both need to take their hits on that one, both to blame.
I saw.
Yeah, 100%.
Is it Nemtac? Are they doing some? Are they trying to CNC a nozzle as well?
Yeah,
Did I say?
I think a few people have offered to see if they can.
Nemtac are on the Instagram comments, so they might be able to confirm.
So that'd be really good. It's nice to see that people are trying to support and help him, like from something.
Yeah, for sure. It's nice to see the
wrong.
community.
But again, like he is right. That is kind of both parties' mistake. Obviously, he put his trust into someone, which fair enough, you would. Even I would. But someone drilling a hole in something, even I'd be a bit.
I'd be
not sure about that. I'm going to ask a few people before you do it.
Oh, there we go. Nemtac have said one of our mates have offered to CNC a nozzle. Yes,
fair play.
That's cool.
That's really, really nice of him.
Really cool.
The same mate he made the meme video with of them drilling a hole in a nozzle. Speaking of Nemtac, we're hoping to link up with them soon. But yeah, we've got Bricklayer here saying there's so many bullshitters in airsoft. Do your own research and make your own decisions with everything. It's probably best for anyone watching this who's possibly going to end up in the same situation in the future. Don't go to someone who claims to be a tech on site.
No. Always do your research, 100%.
Yeah. I've only really used, in the last few years, Airsoft Monkey, who Dom knows as well and knows the work they do.
They're on the Insta, I think, I believe. Yes.
Yep.
So, the thing is, again, though, it's quite hard to know who to trust, especially if you're new and you've got no, like, teammates or people that you sort of socialise with or friends to ask, to be honest. If you've got no one you can actually ask advice on, then it's kind of one of them situations like, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm fortunate that I like to tinker, so I do all my own sort of tech work. I'm not very good, but...
yeah, but again, if it messes up, that's your fault.
It works.
He's just commented, funny enough, Airsoft Monkey. Dom saying that he's done very good work and he's a good lad as well, Phil, at Airsoft Monkey, down at Combat UK in Stevenage. Tony's saying, again, this is another thing as well, Tony's saying that none of his riffs comply to their FPS
so
limits.
So how much under are actually their FPS limits? So like to say the standard one, because I think a lot of
I'm just going to have a look. You think
a kind of set limit, don't they?
Well,
so
Dan's
sort of
in the comments. He's the head researcher.
Yeah, he's not been pulling his weight on the researching recently. So
yeah, go somewhere that offers a guarantee. That's another one, 100%. But still, I'd say do your research, because some people, I know there's been I'm going to mention their name, but there has been a tech that's done work on guns. They've had the gun for months and then they've got the gun back and then it's completely destroyed itself, and then trying to get him to fix it.
Oh, there we go. Tony's replied with 320 feet per second on a .2.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought
obviously as well, you know.
0.2.
Yeah.
I'm going to preface this as well by saying that, Jamie, if this does get back to you in any way, you are welcome to reach out and come on the show and give your side of everything that's gone on. The whole incident with what we apparently did or didn't do at your site. You know, the invite's still there. Dom's saying as well the maximum BB weight at the site is also 0.25. I think that's because it's their CQB site.
But is it mixed between both? Because I know jail's a 0.3.
No,
I remember rightly.
The one nozzle gate's about is the Warsaw site, so it's like a shopping centre.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah,
I wanted to play, but I'm not allowed to.
Okay, so I do kind of understand the 2.5s, but even still, 1.2 the limit being 320. That's a massive difference. I thought it'd only be like 5, maybe 10 at a push, but that's
I've known a site before that's gone at 340 rather than 350, but that's
what I mean. That's
manageable.
10. That's not a lot.
It's not a huge change, especially when people. This was another conversation we had as well, is the people that will push right up to that FPS limit and then wonder why they can't play sights as well. You know, at the end of the day, have a look at what's going into your gun and find the best mix of things, the best balance of things, so as you don't have this again.
Some people are quite sort of, that's a bit pedantic about wanting to be literally like on the limit or like 1 or 2.
Oh, you do. I noticed
it was over 5 FPS as well.
Yeah.
It was over 5 FPS, this whole thing as well, you know.
Yeah.
Okay,
really?
yes, they've got their sight limits, but for the sake of 5 FPS, where it would have been absolutely fine at an outdoor site.
And I'm not being funny, on a 2 or 2.5, that's not massively it's a lot of CQBs run.
I'd also like to say as well, by the way, because I did actually look at this as well. It pains me to put this into my search history. But
not the midget one again,
but maybe it was one of those situations he just wanted to play, and he could have travelled a long way and didn't want to have to go home. And
I
know from my point,
variables that we don't fully know.
No one knows a complete and utter story of all of it on both sides, but it's
the thing is, for me,
so many different scenarios.
So I'm going to share the website. My channel's probably going to implode now, but it's going to make like the fucking Ocean Gate submarine and just fucking implode on itself now. Everything, but. So you've got here, this is their FPS chart for their CQB sites. So it says FPS limit 328 or 289, depending on your weight, but then it's also got maximum. So I'm like, well, why put the maximum on there if it's over your FPS limit? You just say, right, my FPS limit is this. This is what our rules are.
I can't see it. It does say maximum 0.2 is 350.
Yeah.
Right, so that's completely contradicting what they said. So if he was around the basic limit, he weren't over the limit.
Can I zoom in on that? Yes, I can.
What?
So it says FPS limit 328, but then next to it says maximum of 350. That is a little bit misleading in my personal opinion.
It's very, very misleading. So that's saying to me that 328 is preferred, roughly, but you go no more than 350.
But you can push it up to 350,
Yeah, 100%. But
10% tolerance we've got there. So
that
works.
I've never even seen that, but
having more than one number.
But even that's not
10% as well. That is highly confusing. Like that really is. You need set limits to what you're allowed to have, basically.
Yeah. But I mean, it's the same on the other ones as well.
Yeah.
So down here, like all the site limits are different as well. Weirdly enough, they leave out 0.45, which is one of the most common heavyweight BBs that you see. But so there's both sides to it here. Obviously, there's been some to-ing and fro-ing between the lad in question and the site since. Those messages were available for a brief period of time, but have since been taken down. So I'm assuming that there's obviously an ongoing discussion with that. So I know we got screenshots of it, but I'm going to leave them out of the discussion for tonight while that goes on. But it seems like really and truthfully they've done things, and Nemtek's going on about the FPS, by the way, saying that it's overly complicated and causes issues all the time. Matt Skirmish here, who we know, we've had him on the show, he's run sites before and all that. It still does. A limit is a limit. Surely you can't have two limits. Well, this is the whole thing that we're saying.
Yeah, that's the nail on the head right
there. Silky as well, making a very valid point here. He knows that Jim ran Bravo 1 on a slight different FPS, but that was very clear, and you knew before you went there. It was literally, this is our limit. And again, like even like a Bravo, there were some weird and wonderful rules. Like if you had a tri-shot shotgun, you had to load one BB into the shell and then hope that it read on the chrono, things like that.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's just issues with the chronos, isn't it? Because I know one site, I'm after that sometimes when they shot the tri-shot, it would come up the ridiculous numbers. You can never get an accurate reading of what they're actually firing, which I can understand that it is a bit tricky. It depends what equipment you've got, to be fair. And there is another rule, more recent with shotguns, is if you've got, I think it depends what it is. You're only allowed to shoot it, and then the BBs have got to stay in the air. Once they've dropped, you're allowed to shoot again. So you have to treat it almost like a DMR. So you're not allowed to spam fire it, basically. Which, to be fair, in CQB, it's been brilliant. So it just makes it easier for people to understand how to use it. So you shoot, wait for them to drop, and then you shoot again.
Yeah, because with the introduction of things like the Sega or whatever, however you
That's
say
the
it,
one. That's the one. The full auto one.
It's semi-automatic. Yeah. So you can just spam it. So
there is a few on the local sites.
There might be one.
And is it the AA-12 the other one?
Yeah, so they need to bring them sort of rules, which is understandable. You know what I mean? You don't want 3 BBs being shot at you like ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
Just, to be fair, they hurt anyway. Got one in the rib cage, and it looks like Predator's got me. So I got 3 perfect dots in a triangle. It's brilliant. Hurt though.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I get both sides of this argument here, and it's at the end of the day, I hope the guy gets it resolved. I hope he gets his gun fixed. From the sounds of it, Geordies are going to help him out, and that's epic for them. Should he have done it? No. You'd hope that a site owner would know better than drilling in someone's gun. He said that the guy knew exactly what was going on at all times as well during the process. So obviously he's been open, clear about what he's doing. The guy hasn't known better. Maybe he should have done a bit more research and asking around, as Kerry sort of said earlier.
Yeah. That's what I would do. I'd be messaging my mate saying, look, just give me a minute. I'll be messaging people I know that play airsoft and saying, look, this is my issue. What do you reckon? And getting a bit of feedback first beforehand.
Just step away for like 10-15 minutes, message a few people. He's saying drill my nozzle. Should I do that? And
sometimes you don't think, do you? We all do it. We just go, we trust someone. You go, actually, thank you. I really appreciate you helping me. And the next thing you know, you're like,
and that's the thing. If you don't know any better, you think they know best.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dom's actually just sent me a photo saying that Sega 12s are fun.
They're painful. To be fair, they're not actually ridiculously high on the FPS, but mine was not.
I want to know what they must have upgraded that. In fact, I think we're pretty much done on this. So I think it's actually a good time to bring Dom in now, because I think we're pretty much done on this now.
I think we're done.
We've said our bit, so we'll bring Dom in. Was that upgraded?
No, that's completely stock with 2 8BBs.
Really?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Oh my god. Wait, I've got one to be Mom's a long shot, but
that's what you've been paintballing.
That's from a friend. So that was when Unit 26 opened, the first 2 or 3 days. That was from about 7 or 8 meters away with 2 8s.
2 8s. Saying that about BB, someone's made a comment earlier. The bricklayer one I was looking at. He says he hates sites that limit what weight you run because heavier weight BBs don't hurt.
Yeah,
they don't hurt. I think he went on to say as long as the joules are the same, didn't they?
Yeah.
I hate sites with strict BB weights. Heavy BBs do not hurt more at close range as long as the joules are the same.
Yeah.
See, not like a site
near us that used to have no MED on sniper rifles firing at 500 FPS.
Really good site that was.
Yeah. Dom knows exactly which site I want about. It was what, 10 minutes from my house, I think.
Yeah, it's about half an hour from my old house.
Yeah, and that's not there anymore.
They disappeared just before COVID.
Yeah, someone else took it over, but I think they've gone now, haven't they?
It was a paintball site. I think the paintball site sold out, and they left.
Yeah, but that was a great site. I think it was game on at 10, and I left at 10:30.
It was so I won't say the name. Of the
well
site.
Done.
That's where I started. I've still got. I started 16 years ago there, and I've still got some scars from that site.
Yeah.
Wow.
As I said though, 500 FPS with no MED, it's going to happen.
Yep.
That's like me walking up to Adam right now with my SRS and shooting him point blank.
Yeah.
Just going, take it.
It did happen every now and then.
Yeah.
So there were certain people at that site that didn't have courtesy, I call it.
And then they got really salty when me and Ryan, who's one of our teammates, went round the back of them and flanked them completely.
Yeah.
And completely unopposed as well. We literally just walked around behind them and started lighting them up. And they got really salty. They didn't bother trying to engage us. Yeah, so Dom's here. Dom has been on the show a couple of times in the past.
You might remember me from previous episodes.
Such as, I don't know, we did a couple of spicy episodes in the days.
I think it was like episode 6 when I came on for Balls Deep.
Yeah.
Very early on.
I can tell you exactly when that was because I'll look through the history now. You did Balls
Scroll
Deep.
down the calendar, yeah.
You did a brief stint as a co-host as well.
I did.
And now you've since moved away.
Yep.
And are working for Delta Armory.
Yes, so I work for Delta Armory and Patrol Base.
You kept the Patrol Base a bit quiet.
Right,
okay. Can I make him leave now?
But I worked for only Airsoft or Combat UK, depending on what you know them, down in Stevenage, which is how I know Andy. I've worked for Airsoft Direct as well in Hull. So yeah. I've been around the block a little bit.
So let's talk about sort of you getting into Airsoft then, and then how that sort of progressed into you working in the industry.
It's really sad how I got into it, like really sad. My friend Casey, I think Andy will probably remember Casey, we used to do Stargate roleplay and bits and pieces. So my first experience with Airsoft was basically playing Stargate SG-1.
Legend. Absolute legend.
We did that sort of at a local paintball field for about six months-ish and found the site that me and Andy were speaking about, where I played there for about 2 years. And then a site called Viking Airsoft opened around the corner from me, which is run by Andy that owns A2 Supplies.
The A2... Yeah, no, I know where you are now, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Got introduced to Tony from Rift very early on when he had his, I can't remember the name of the site now, but as well as Edward Leo that owns Only Airsoft, and started working for Ed when he was in the indoor market, all the way up into the Stevenage store.
Oh god, the indoor market! I forget that they were there.
Yeah,
that's where that all started. Airsoft Monkey saying, "Yeah, you have to everything." Not Combat UK. Parker says, "Hi, Dom."
Hi guys. Left Ed and the guys and moved up to, well, I left there, and then after a little while, a stint as being a chef in TGI Fridays and a couple of Green King pubs, I moved up to Hull. I was then employed by Airsoft Direct for a couple of years, and then left there last year, and then just after Christmas this year, Delta Armory dropped me a message, and then soon after Patrol Base dropped me a message. I'm here now.
Cool. So obviously you work for Delta Armory and Patrol Base. Do you keep the two very separate, or do you find that it overlaps maybe a bit more than maybe?
So though I'm not technically employed by Delta Armory, it's a Patrol Base thing, but I'm sort of like the UK rep for Delta Armory.
Okay, so it's sort of through Patrol Base there.
Yeah,
sort of like they're sort of effectively like the traded name, for want of a better term, for Delta Armories in the UK.
Yeah. So I rep for Delta Armory, and I'm also part of the wholesale team for Patrol Base. So Patrol Base, if you guys have known, deal with Delta Armory and Noveridge for the UK. So you will probably get an email or a phone call from me if you own a site or a shop. Probably in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I just for everyone just wondering, because he was halfway through speaking, I wanted to put that in. But I said in that nice empty warehouse that everyone says Patrol Base have.
It's not empty anymore.
No, can confirm. I have seen it. We weren't allowed to film in there years ago, but I did see it, and it is not empty. It's just the trouble is though, everyone says that seagulls are back.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Do you know? I heard it, and then all I could think of for some reason I was finding Nemo. Mine.
Also, it's too hot for me to close that window.
No, I know.
I do apologise.
David Chuck's in here saying that he's had too many calls off of you.
I'm going to call him tomorrow morning now.
He's going to call him tonight once we finish. In fact, call him now.
Yeah.
Patrol Base have had a lot of stick over the years for not having stock, but I do feel like they've almost become a victim of their own success because they do keep the prices lower than a lot of other places because they do have that quantity and that warehousing and the retail side of it to support that, so they don't have to invest in stock and then sell it on at a price. They can just store it. And it's almost, because they are cheaper, people naturally go to them, and it is a victim of their own success. We've had Stu on in the past to talk about it.
No, they do really well. The amount of products on the Patrol Base website, I think people have got to somewhat understand that there's so many products on the website. They carry so many different brands of bits and pieces. They've got one warehouse. They can't have it. They can't have it continuously. There's only one warehouse. You can't fully stock the website all of the time. And it's also when they can get hold of bits and pieces from suppliers that sort of like works out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They are a bit of a victim of their own success in some ways, but I think they do a really, really good job at it.
Dan Chesney saying that the new Patrol Base store is great. He's been a few times as his brother runs the auction venue behind them.
Ah, fair enough.
So he's obviously in. So make sure you say hi to Dom. Give him a nice hug when you get there.
If you notice me, come and say hello.
He likes you to stick your pinky up his bumhole. He's told me that before.
20 quid's 20 quid, mate.
It's cheap.
Yeah. No,
with this economy, I can't charge any more than that.
We're getting all the little comments in because Dom can't anymore. This is actually probably the most professional you've been on this show.
Oh, I've got to be, yeah. Well, if you want some of my stupid humour, go back to previous episodes.
It was episode 9.
You're sensible now.
Yeah, it was episode 9. It was March 2018 when he was first on the show. Listen to that one. That was fun. What have I started?
So Chesney's on one.
No, I'm laughing at Chesney.
Chesney is on one today. So Delta, tell us a bit about Delta, because it's a brand that I'd only really heard of because of Ailey, because she actually has a Delta riff
somewhere.
I was going to say you could have prepared and actually bought it out.
I tried. It's buried somewhere.
What one?
Oh, and here's one I made earlier.
Yeah, and the next one.
Now I've got the A15, the M4, like AR-15 basically. So I enjoy it very much.
So Delta
tell us about it.
Okay, do you want the whole story? Do you want me to bore you a little bit for 5 minutes?
By all means, go with the whole story. At the end of the day,
let's go wild in the
We need to know the history of where this brand came from to where we are now.
So Delta Armory started out in 2019.
Brilliant timing.
Peak. It's owned by a gentleman called Peter, and it's his little baby, but he owns part owns a airsoft shop in Slovakia. His parents are the owners. He works for his parents, and during the upcoming to 2019, he found that the airsoft market, or what he wanted from the airsoft market, was lacking. So his best way of doing it was to basically turn around and say, "Sod this, I can do it better." So he started Delta Armory, which is, if you go back in their catalogue of guns, is just your plain old M4A1s and Rizzes, nothing fancy, polymer bodies, really good for your beginners. And it sort of evolved from there. With this year we've just released the Freyers and the Eagle lines, which are ETU rifles. Got the brand power license for real steel gun manufacturer. And a couple of bits and pieces of the VZ58s from Ares are now licensed by us, and a couple of bits and pieces, say us, by Peter. So now we're on our 3rd generation of rifles. So you've got your standard edition, your Eagle line, and then the ETU line, depending on how much money you want to spend on bits and pieces, as well as gas pistols coming out later next month.
Oh,
I love my pistols.
Because you said about the rifles, you've answered my next question already perfectly.
Well, so what's going to be the question anyway? What are you going to ask?
Are you going to go into pistols because you'd only mentioned the rifles and you've literally just answered that?
Yes, so we have coming out in the end of August, early September is the Glock series or the G series, because the Glock representative are hiding behind the trees somewhere, waiting to jump. As well as a pistol. It's called the Mark 23, but it's by Grand Power. It's more like a hybrid of the CZP09 and a Glock. It's a bit different. Both of them are TM Glock compatible. The Glocks will take all the WE and TM Glock magazines, and then the Mark 23 will take all the internal parts from TM Glocks. So trying to keep it into the realm of there's going to be spare parts if you need it, because no one wants a unique gun. We've seen those over the years not do super well, and also so G series is the second most popular pistol ever. So we've gone for that to begin with further bits and pieces down the line, hopefully. I can't tell anyone yet.
Yeah. So what are you hoping, or do you do / hoping to do with the pistols differently to everyone else that would make people go, right, I'm going to buy a Delta Armory, as opposed to, I mean, let's let AD send me a link to the one that she's got. So let's think of similar sort of price ranges. You're sort of looking at your combat machines, your Spectre arms. Is it the cores, the beginner style ones?
Yeah, so the equivalent would be like a core from Spectre arms. So what would you get with it is you get a 140 round mid-cap, a 603 Type bore. If you've got the new batch that landed last week, they've got the new R-Hop rubber and a Mega Nub system in there. They've also, and this is very good to know, they have a quick change spring.
That's really handy to know.
Anyone think that has been relevant recently?
Yes. There's also a couple of bits and pieces that we've changed. So because Slovakia's got different joule limits to us, they're sitting at 1.8 joules for their normal AEGs.
Oof.
So
wow, that's going to sting.
So 400 FPS-ish.
You don't want to be too hot or over a sight limit.
Yeah, so previously we've had to downgrade them. All patrol bases had to downgrade them themselves. 8mm drill bit, yeah, you're going to need it for it. You've ruined my train of thought now.
Some people are so distracted. How rude.
No, it's at the end of the day, for example, with say Spectre, you get quite a lot out of it these days for a base gun. I mean, I'm looking at the functions here. You got 6.03 Type ball barrels, aluminium handguards on a gun in this price range.
So
you've seen similar guns of that price range. For example, the combat machines where it's all polymer, it's molded. Nuprol. Oh god, the Nuprol that I've got. I love Nuprol. I'd like to get them on the show, but fucking hell, the fucking flash lines that were left on the one that I got, it was horrendous. If we send that out to a customer in my line of work, they send it back and go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
So their standard full polymer build with no bells and whistles starts from 100 quid, £99 and 99 pence, to about 130. You add another £10 onto that, and you can go to the Bravo line, which has got metal rail systems on there, and then onto the Alpha line, which is full metal. Let me see if I can find you an Alpha. Second. I did get prepared, and then I started scrolling in and out.
Isn't it?
This is an Alpha, I think. Yeah, this is an Alpha that we're looking at now. I'll share my screen. In fact,
so,
that would help.
There you go.
That's the one that I've got.
So £210 full metal gun, 603.
Obviously, this was sent
really
from Patrol Base, but other retailers are available. We have to get that little disclaimer in there, so we can't be accused of being sponsored by people again.
So Dave said I call him 100 times a day. Love him to pieces. Best conversation ever. He retails Delta Armory at his site, which is Urban Armaments. Really, really good guys. But yeah, from 110.
I like that it comes with the hand stop as well. It's not. That's not just in the picture because it looks cool. That's because you get it with that gun.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. Like you don't see that from many.
No. So if there's most of the range come with some form of grip. Or if it's a key mod, it comes with the rail sections ready to put on something.
This is one thing that lacks as well, because how many times do you go to get a gun and then you've got to buy well, you got to buy batteries anyway a lot of the time because I mean you don't get the NIMs like you used to anymore. Everyone will remember the days where you got a NIM and then you threw it in the bin because everyone said they were shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, are they Deans or are they Tamiya's in this?
So if you go for the normal edition, which has not got either the Eagle or the ETU written in the name, they are mini Tamiyas or small Tamiyas.
Mm-hmm.
You go up to the Eagle line, which comes with a programmable MOSFET. It's optical as well. They come with T-plugs or Dean's connectors, depending on what you call them. And then the ETU again.
That was one of the first upgrades on the Ailey's one. Change it to Dean's.
But so, for example, as well with Delta, they sell everything almost separately. So if you wanted to change it over to the ETU, they're £45 for the MOSFET, or the Eagle's 40 for the MOSFET. Both of them are optical. They're optical gear sensors. The Eagle is magnetic trigger, and the ETU is a sensor trigger. So for 45 quid, you can upgrade the gun to having
which is a huge saving as well, because you know someone like me would go, right, okay, I'm going to drop 130 quid or whatever they are these days on a Gate Titan.
Yeah,
let's stick that in there. But if you've got the equipment ready, then
and
it doesn't even need to leave the shop. You go, right, I want this. It's almost like you can just build it and say to them, right, I want this all done and fitted before I get it, and they'll do it.
Yep,
a lot of places.
If you've got one of the Deltas, buy one of the. It's called the Berserker pack. They're currently on patrol base for I think they're like a tenner.
That's quite a convenient name to remember.
I know. I might have struggled remembering that one.
So it comes with an R-Hop style hot rubber, and a mega nut, like a hard tensioner, and a reinforced arm. I've got people telling me they can hit 70 to 80 meters with a 2.8 just by dropping that into the standard Delta barrel. And I've got one.
Okay, I'm going to ask this: is that actually ranged 70 to 80 meters, or is that an airsoft 70 to 80 meters?
So, if you've been to patrol base and you've gone to the back of the warehouse where Stu does his shooting, that's 65 meters from where you sort of stand, 65 meters ish to the first target, 75 to the back target, and we can just past the 75 meter target. So, and that's with the 2.8 airsoft meters, Matt. That is 110. Easy.
Yeah. That's like shooting the same range as an actual 5.56.
Yeah,
airsoft meters.
Yeah. Chris Kyle used the Delta Armory in real life. But I get, so this is my little build, and I've changed over the hot rubber and rail and bits and pieces. I get around 55 to 60 meters with this on a 2.8. That's real meters.
For a short weapon as well. Like, well, I say short compared to some of the other
barrel. 7-inch barrel. Yeah. So, but yeah, they're really good. I've got loads of people, sort of say, "Oh, it shot really well out of the box," and I put the Berserker hot rubber in it, and now it shoots even further. I'm like, sweet, that's what we like to hear.
Yeah,
they come standard now. So since the current restock last week, they're now standard in every Delta Armory.
Nemtak have asked on Insta, can you adjust active braking on the MOSFET?
Yep.
Turn on or adjust. That's it.
You can indeed, yes. As well as there's 3-round, 5-round, and 9-round burst, pre-cocking, binary trigger, and then on the Eagle series there is a setting to change from brushless to non-brushless motors as well.
So, seeing as we spoke about getting information out earlier, changing all this programmability, I haven't even had that much whiskey. All this programmability on the MOSFET, is that done via an app, or is it done via? I know there's some weird and wonderful ones where you do something with the gun and it just does it. You have to,
something you have to use the trigger.
Yeah. So on every one of the ETUs, you get a QR code. It is done by trigger pulls, but the back end of the wiring's got a QR code, so you can just scan it and it tells you. It's got the instructions there, and then very, very easy. There's only like 3 different slots and 2 different settings in each sort of thing, so you're not getting lost in huge amounts of bits and pieces. And then it vibrates the motor, telling you you've set it or what you're going through.
That's cool.
Don't get me wrong, I love the Gate app where you plug it in. Unfortunately, Gate are like the only company that have managed to master the app so far. One day one day. I'll work out what they did.
I was going to say that app came in so handy at a game when I decided to, within half an hour, put 1,200 rounds through my QRF Mod 1 and wondered why the motor had shat itself.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah.
They do have low voltage detection as well, so
cool. Yeah, that's another thing as well, because you've got that extra little protection. It's always handy to have. That's called me out a couple of times with my gate tight. You don't realise how much you fired on a day, and then all of a sudden everything's just dead.
Dead, yeah. It
Right,
gives you
hang on, battery.
It gives you a nice solid long beep,
Yeah.
and then it shuts off for a second, which is really obvious in a game day when you go, "What's going? Oh, my battery's flat." Or, need a new battery in it. So they're not the Gates the leading MOSFET brand at the moment, and we're trying our best to implement as much as we can into our products to make them relevant. But then when you say 45 quid to a customer instead of 145 quid, there's a big difference.
Especially in this day and age where everything is so much more expensive.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last thing that I actually bought for Airsoft, whereas Don will tell you I used to just walk in and buy shit all the time when I was in Combat UK every week.
Yes, every payday, Andy will come out with at least 2 guns, easy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I used to spend so much money in there.
And then he would take the gun and give it to Phil, and then he wouldn't receive the gun until he got paid the next time, where he bought another 2 guns, giving it to Phil. So it was it was bad. It was really good for business.
Well, look how long it took me to get my SRS upgraded by Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's sort of like a short history of Delta Armory. So since sort of March, we did the IWA. That was absolutely brilliant. I know, Andy, you've done one, haven't you?
I did one. The last one I went to would have been 2019.
So I was there repping for the UK, and then come back to the UK and started setting up ready for wholesale.
Cool. From the looks of it as well, like looking at some of the comments, David's saying that they're flying out the door for him, and he struggles to keep them. It's definitely something that's intriguing me as another option for a more budget platform.
Yeah.
Because for years and years, it was just the combat machine was what you went for.
Yeah. And you went to every airsoft site, and their rental was just a fleet of 150 combat machines.
Yeah.
And now
they still worked.
And yeah. I still go to a couple of sites now where they still got like that one JG G36 in the corner that's still alive. That opened 100 years ago.
That is it though. It was a
JG36.
JG36.
Still be alive long after people stop playing airsoft.
Yeah.
One of the few things that would survive a nuclear apocalypse is the JG G36 cockroaches.
I was going to say they are worse than cockroaches. You can yeet it into a bus and it'd just be like, the bus broke down.
Yeah.
Not Combat UK Parker's been saying affordable performance is how he's been describing the brand.
Yeah, so I couldn't make it down to Shift Your Rift this year. Jake at White Sphere, another one of our sort of customers. So I asked not Parker to be sort of like an ambassador and a sponsor to go down. I'll send you a couple of bits and pieces, have a go with it, show it off, see what you think, get back to me. And they've been doing, in all honesty, God's work for me for the last 2 months. Been just running around with the one that they got from us, personally buying their own. I get messages of him like 2 or 3 times a week, just saying, "Oh, I bought myself a Delta and it's really good and he's been doing really well."
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to try one of these out for myself just to see.
Yeah, try to go on Sunday if you want.
South Park Airsoft, the SEMA AKs are also another absolute bomb-proof rental. But that's one thing we're trying to get into is the rental market.
This is one thing that Chesney asked as well. Do they offer sites their risk to use as rentals to promote more sales? I suppose it's a different thing because it's different to you going, here, have these to loan out, as opposed to a site actually going out and buying a fleet.
Yeah. So
if you did get into rental ones, though, that'd definitely be a big thing.
So we are offering wholesale to airsoft sites as rentals. I've got currently Tony at Rift, their new CQB site that's opening up. He's just going through the stages of getting 15 of the ETU models for the new site. if you go onto the website, the stocks on the ETUs are very skinny stocks.
Yeah.
Your standard buffer tubes, and we're sorting them out the big crane stocks so we can fit all day batteries. So the market's there for them, and the ETUs are phenomenal guns. I think it might be a bit overpowered watching like 15 rentals with ETU models like against the regulars.
They're fine.
I tell you what, no one would be dissing the rentals ever again after that.
Yeah. the ETUs are keep up with 90% of airsoft guns that are like the work done. So yeah, if you turn up to risk in your site next month and you're just getting absolutely dicked on by a load of rentals, it might be my bad, and I don't know.
There you go.
This is the thing, it's actually a perfect opportunity to look at. We can compare it to one of mine that's got all the upgrades in it, whatever, and see the side by side performance of these things.
Yeah.
Just do a little short clip about it. I'm sure they've got a test range at South Hearts we could borrow for 10 minutes at some point in the day.
Yeah. Really good what Dave said.
He said, after retailing all sorts of different brands, Delta just tick every box for us. They consistently shoot 3.2s out of the box. The price for performance is phenomenal. I don't think there's another brand out there that are doing what Delta are, but that's my personal opinion. I was going to say, is he sponsored by Delta Armory?
He's not.
Hashtag not sponsored.
I do. Me and Dave have a couple of phone calls a week just to keep see what's going. I went to Elsham, which is the site they run, and I think there was 60, 70 players on the day. At least 70% of those were running Delta Armory rifles. It was like mind blowing turning up, and I'm like, oh,
wow.
Delta, and I'm shooting, and then it's just like, oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Another one.
Yeah. Another one. But yeah, he is right. He sells out almost every weekend. I do get normally a phone call Monday morning or a message on Sunday night, like, can you put an order through me? It's my day off, buddy. I need to. But yeah, he does really well with them. So Patrol Base does really well with them, as you would have thought, or I wouldn't have a job. But so it's relatively new. So most people in the UK haven't heard of Delta Armory, but we're getting there.
I was
I'll be
going to say,
honest, I haven't until I found out we're having you on the show. I didn't actually hear about it before.
I hadn't, and I've even seen the box from Ailey's one.
Well, that's.
I have to admit, I didn't actually buy it. I won it in a raffle, but before that, I hadn't heard of you guys either. So when was that? That was last summer. So I've had it about a year now, I'd say. But yeah, it's been pretty good.
Again, though, you're then independent because you haven't gone out and spent money on it, and you're still saying what a great gun it is.
Yeah, this is it. You've got no affiliation at all because you haven't paid your hard-earned money for it.
Yeah.
So you just go, nah, it's all right.
After using it, like at the Warzone weekend, because I used it while you used my MTW.
Yeah.
And yeah, I loved it. I think I wouldn't think twice about buying one.
No, that's it. I'd get one. Yeah. If that ever died for whatever reason.
And to be fair, seeing the prices as well is really, really good. Like I went and got my latest purchase was a KWA, one of the Eve 9, I think it was.
Yep.
Not all I've had is feeding issues with it. I had to send it back within 15 minutes of using it. It completely died. Don't get me wrong. The guy sorted it brilliantly, really quickly for me. Sent it away, got it fixed, got it back. Still feeding issues with mags. It's just, and so I've just gone back to the Evo and my pistol. Done. Stick to what I know. I've tested a lot of M4 mags, and the only ones that I can't seem to get to feed are the transparent Nupro ones. Okay.
Every other magazine, so even the Nupro standard metal mid caps, high caps, it's just a transparent 300 blackout style mid caps. That's the only one I can't seem to get to feed.
That's weird.
Just to reply to Chesley's comment, can confirm croc charms do fit on the road.
There's one thing that is weird about is the croc attachments that fit. Yeah, it's still got a bucket of those somewhere in the showroom. 100%.
I'm just having a look at your prices now. So you've got some Delta Armory. Obviously, the prices go right up to the 500 mark. Normally, they are on offer at the moment at Patrol Base.
Yeah, so they're the Pro Arms ones, I think, that are around
the Pro Arms, yeah. So that's going to be good. But even then, you've got a decent starter bundle here with the what's it? The Silent Ops CQB bundle that you guys offer here. So it's got the ETU Bravo Silent Ops, Red Dot, and 2 extra mags, along with all the bits you need, like a LiPo battery, the charger, the charging bag, all that sort of stuff. So like even that, like 390 quid for a full package there to get you started.
That's basically set you up completely, isn't it?
Yeah.
Need nothing else.
Yeah.
And when you look at like the price of an extra mid cap at £9 a mid cap from Delta Armory, you just can't go wrong.
That's really, really cheap.
Yeah, it makes you sort of toss things up between buying that or going out and buying your PTS mags. Again, it depends what you want, but if you can get a mag
I do
for
run
£9,
PTS mags personally, but
yeah, I think we're all a PTS horde deep inside somewhere, aren't we?
No, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
yeah.
The thing is, though, you've probably got them from over the years. You've probably got quite a collection of mags from over the years anyway, so you've got plenty to try out regardless.
Yeah, working for 3 different airsoft shops, I've got buckets and buckets of crap. And if you can see, none of my Deltas look stock. So, that's got URX rail on it, Magpul stock. That's basically an Eagle. And then I've got Mark 12 build.
That's cool.
That's nice.
That I sprayed up in Tiger Strong. You talking about techs? That's from AirTech, which is Lukey B in Doncaster. He did that one for me, and then the little blackout one is from the guys over at Bolster.
Cool.
Did that. So that was a sort of like a prototype to what's coming out in the new phrase. So it's one of the ETU style gearboxes, but with the Eagle MOSFET inside it. So it's sort of like the best of both worlds. And they put those together. So if you want some good techs, AirTech and Bolster Armory is really, really good.
Cool. Means we don't have to hang on. So Not Combat UK Parker here. To be fair, he's got a valid point. He's saying, can we stop saying cheap? I might be biased, but the quality is amazing for the prices. I'm only saying cheap because that's the easiest way of describing it. Should we say budget friendly? Would that be a more diplomatic term?
Yeah. The quality is definitely there. Even down to the polymer stuff is solid polymer. You're not getting a lot of flex in there. If you fall over it, I've got faith that it will hold up.
It'll break you before the gun breaks.
Most airsoft is soft and squishy if you're anything like me.
Built for comfort, not for speed.
Yeah.
That said, though, you are fucking trim compared to what you used to be, buddy.
Oh, I've put some weight on, mate.
Have you done it again?
Yeah.
Combat UK Park, not Combat UK Park, saying affordable. They're all, at the end of the day, they're all the same thing. It's just how you word it. I mean, obviously, cheap does have the negative connotations with it, so it's not necessarily the best word. But as I said, though, the quality of some of these things you get for the same sort of price range is shocking, really, compared to, as I said, I had what's the affordable, I'll use the word, affordable move. I got one of those in the Battleship Grey, and all you could see around the outside on the body was all the flash lines.
Yeah,
it's just like little bits of attention to detail. Yes, okay, it's in the lower end of the market price wise, but it doesn't mean you have to skimp on the quality of what you're doing. It doesn't take long to run a deburring tool down the side of something.
Yeah, I'm going to upset a few people here. Take a stock TM NGRS, right, and then go put it against one of the ETUs, and tell me that the Deltas are cheap. Because they shoot further than a stock TM every day of the week.
Have you been stealing their magic?
I was going to say, I think a P shooter would probably shoot further than TM.
Well, I don't like to upset people because TM is a huge brand in the UK. But yeah, the ETUs are phenomenal. To be honest, the whole line's really, really good.
You mentioned TM though. That's a point because TM is seen as like the premium brand in the UK.
Yeah,
but they've seemingly stuck with the same recipe for everything for years. They haven't really gone out and innovated and made things that much better. So everyone now has caught them up.
Yeah,
I think personally, a lot of things with the TM, all I know it for is the customizable pistols, like all the parts and that lot. That's you don't really see TM around as much.
I think it's very very spot based in the UK. So whole area is very TM heavy. Everyone likes the TM here.
See, this way we're more just the custom pistols, really, because obviously they always start with a TM base, and then they get different slides and everything like that, and that's about it, really.
Like Trigger's broom.
Well, I think it's down to like what the local shop sells. So if your local shop, you know, around BZ, I would imagine it's very KWA based. You know, over here because we've got Airsoft Direct, they're TM heavy, so it's TM heavy around here. Huddersfield, and that where Fubar, Bundy, and Patrol Base are is sort of like a mixture because both of those shops sell a good variety of bits and pieces. So I think it's very shop based. You know.
Whatever's nearby is what you go for because that's what they're going to plug at the end of the day.
Yeah. When Combat UK was very heavy on their TM stuff, the area was very TM. They've moved over to Spetner Arms at the moment. Hopefully, I can change that.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, it's a challenge. But you'll find it's shop based. And so, you know, if your local site has JG G36s, you'll see the first batch. You know, your first gun's normally something along that line, and so forth and so on. So, yeah.
Although, is that going to be as much of a problem because people are buying much more online now, looking for the better deals? So, is it going to change where things go? You know,
possibly.
If I was going to buy a Delta Armory, I'd possibly go up through Patrol Base because at the end of the day, it's all there, and I know it's going to be dealt with by those guys at the end of the day. You know, it's coming from the UK trading point, basically.
I think that's each to your own. You know, local shops and sites have local players that support their local businesses, and that's another factor that a lot of people come in. You know, so you've got Combat UK. You used to go there all of the time. Yeah. I don't work there anymore, so I don't know if you still do. But you know, everyone's got their own little niche of shops that they like to go to.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I don't go down the shops. You know, ever since COVID, for me, that changed because it used to be a social thing for us, but because we didn't do it for so long, I just stopped going down there. Whereas, as Don will tell you, we used to go. I mean, Christ, I'd go down there and I'd spend 8 hours down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I avoid mine because I know someone that works there. He used to marshal with me, and he just tries to sell me everything. He's absolutely amazing salesman, brilliant. But I can't walk in there and be like, "Oh, Kez, look at this, try this." I'm like, "Oh, please stop doing this to me," because he knows what I play like, and he knows what I like. He's like, "You're gonna love this." I'm like, "No, hold it." It's like, oh, it's like, actually, no, stop it, please. Only come in there for like a part.
I like how Dave said TM Master Race, but only about 3 hours ago he was asking if he could have one of the new fryers when they come out.
It's been out.
I mean, in all honesty, you've sold me on these. I'd actually be willing to give these a go, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Honestly, give it a go. They start from, say, £100, which doesn't break the bank. And even if you're an experienced... even if you're just, you want to test it out, or, you know, you've got friends that are starting to play and you've got kids that are starting to play and you want to get them something that's a beginner, not a beginner gun, but you know what I mean. Budget friendly, you're not breaking the bank. Performs well.
That's what I think. That definitely would help. Even I've got 2 kids that play, and they don't play as often as what I do, but still, it'd be nice for them. They've both got pistols, but you need something a little bit more so they can go to new, because they want to come to new sites with me as well. Yeah. It's like, it's hard to kind of make that decision on what. I don't want to go and buy them like I've got an Evo. I know they're good, personal reasons, but then it's like you buy these other ones. Like I've got 2 others sitting up there. The experience is a bit hit and miss with them. And my kids, if I get them something that's not good, they will not ever forgive me.
But also, as well, they might not want to try other sites then because they're like, "Oh, I've got to use that," or "That's the gun I've got to use." So it might, like, first impressions with guns, like if you go to a site and they've got really awful rentals, it's not going to make you it's not going to make you hyped up to want to then
and especially
carry on playing or go and rent again.
If they use a rental that does not fire straight, does not work properly, does not feed, I've seen it. I'm not saying anything, but I've seen it quite a few times. But the frustration in them, and that genuinely spoils the day for them as well.
Yeah,
you're not going to
go back.
But the problem is, you go, "Oh, I'm going to change your gun for you," and you're passing them exactly the same gun, but just another one. And they're like, "Well, what's going on here? It's going to be the same." It's like, "Well, this is all we have." Like, you know what I mean? And I do get that one. I do, like, especially for the rentals, bless them.
Southhart's coming in with a valid point here, saying more brands need to sell more than just M4 platforms. I do agree. It's a bit saturated with how many different variants of an AR.
Don't get me wrong. I would like to say that we've got plans for other bits and pieces in the future. That we would like to perfect the line that we've got first.
Yeah,
there's no point having like 50 different styles of rifles that all perform mediocrely, but don't get the reputation where we could sell 10 rifles that perform really well, and then, you know,
100%, I get that.
And then we can develop into different platforms. What I was going to say is about guns breaking down in bits and pieces and spare parts. If you haven't noticed yet on the website, you can buy a complete Delta Armory version 2 gearbox for 25 quid. So you don't even need to be a tech. If something goes wrong, just buy another gearbox for 25.
Things like that as well, especially with sites, would be brilliant because with rentals and things, they do spam them sometimes and things do break. The thing is, you're going to expect it, but you need something that's going to be quick and affordable to change. Because if not, you're going to end up with either some sites have had, I call them Frankenstein guns, where they've had different parts of the same gun broken, so they've tried to put them all in together to make one gun work.
Yeah, try and make one good one out of a couple
of and I've seen some that have bent and
that's the thing. So, like, one of the things that I'm promoting through wholesale for sites is the fact that when something goes wrong, that's like a £10 part from your shop. You've got to pay a tech a tenner to put it in, and then you've got like a new piston in the gearbox. And how, you know, when's the next thing going to break? Where you could just buy another gearbox for 25 quid. You don't need to give it to a tech. You can, you know, fingers crossed. Most people can take out a gearbox and put a new one in. Saving you a bit of time.
We shall test that theory.
Don't do it to me because I can't do that. That's why I know so many techs.
Yeah.
But yeah, stuff like that. So there's loads of bits and pieces. We do BBs all the way up to, we're getting into heavyweight BBs, so 4s, 4.3s in bios and non-bios.
Oh, GBBR. That's interesting.
Potentially, but
that's Dave something I don't own.
A gas gun.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had a look at the patrol-based website of the SEMA gas guns?
No, again, because I've been playing for quite a few years, but I am generally just a player. So yeah, I don't understand every gun. I don't know every single name of them, and I think I've marshaled about the same time I've played. So I've seen so many guns. I've shot so many guns. What they are all called, I have no idea.
I can't remember.
I just know what I like. Like, it took me years. Honestly, it's been like when I first got a gun, I went and bought an ICS one, full metal. It was too heavy for me, really too long. Didn't like it. Then I bought a G&G M4. It was okay. And then my friend shot. I remember we were at the jail, and there was this person, and my G&G the BBs kept dropping. I just couldn't get him, and he went, "Where is he?" Pointed like a laser. I was like, He passed me, and do you know, I fell in love. That's why I always recommend to people as well. Like, if you've got a local shop, go and hold the gun. Go and maybe see if you can test fire it and see what suits you, because every single person likes different here. I have recently been allowed to shoot a GB, gas blowback gun at my local site. Oh my god, that was so fun! So I do want one. It was just such a different experience.
When I get the impasse fitted into my G5, I'll lend you that.
Or the GHP.
When we go play a game, just bring all different guns. We'll just play about them.
I was going to say, as you know, it's a little bit on the warm side at the moment, Kez, so I need to get that brought down. It is slightly hot.
That's it. If you go to a site, if you're a newer player, most regular players will happily lend you their gun.
100%. Like my pistol, my custom pistol I got, they all go, "Oh, look at that, it's all white and rainbow." Cool, and I'm like, "Do you want to shoot it?" They're like, "Can we?" Their faces light up. Oh, it's brilliant.
No, you are right. Airsoft is 99% a fashion show. You dress up your kit. There's so many different ways to dress up.
You just look at the ones that will actually turn up to game day just to have photos rather than to actually play. And
there you go. There's gas gun for you to try on Sunday.
Thank you. I forget what it's called. You had to remind me. I'm shocked.
Ryan, if you watch this, can I borrow the War Crime 74?
Airsoft's 90% a fashion show, and it's that everyone shows off stuff, and most regular players, they've been in there long enough, will know that if they They lend you a gun to go shoot on the range or whatever. Like that. They're growing the community and doing something good and keeping you involved.
This is it. When we were at Warzone Fest, like I was using my MTW, Call Sign Hulk was there, and he was using one of the higher guns. So I just passed him my MTW, said, "Don't move too far away because I've got an airline. You know, fire it over the top of my head. I'll use your rental." And he was like, "This is upgraded." And I'm like, "It's not. It's completely standard, honestly." And he was like, "This is incredible," sort of thing.
That's what I like seeing in the community. It is really, really good, especially when you got like the younger ones as well, because they are the future of it, and you see them and their faces just light up, and it's just you get just a whole buzz about it as well. It's just being able to shoot something, which is again a rental was amazing.
I've said about it before, but this is again why I used to like the billet, because they used to run game days for newer players, and they used to just sort of. I mean, they used to turn around to me because I've been playing. I was probably one of the more experienced players that went down there quite regularly, and they used to just turn around to me and go, "Can you run with these three for the day?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, cool." By the end of the first game, they're off, they're gone, they're playing.
Yeah, just need that little bit of encouragement sometimes, because it is nerve wracking, especially when you see people coming up as you mean, like they're all dressed up and everything. It's intimidating. It really is. I've had kids come on, look at them, and go, "Not doing it." I'm like, just trying to explain that their guns are still the same limit. They just look differently. That is all it is. You haven't got to worry. But it's just, bless them, they just didn't do it. They didn't give it a chance.
If you are a new player, right, and you're like 15 years old and you're going to your first at a game day and you see like a 7 foot tall, like big dude with a beard and tattoos and he's got his gun, he is just you in 30 years' time. Like,
there's always that possibility.
And most of the time, they're the nicest person on the field.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
We are all just fully grown men that are acting like we're still
kids.
I'm going to bring out my friend of mine, Big Pete, who used to play at Red 1 CQB. If you played there, you'll probably know him, Dom.
I think I do, yeah.
You can't miss him. I'd say he's less than 6 foot tall, but he's about as wide as he is tall. And he's honestly a gentle giant, but like he is just muscle. Yeah. So when you go into a CQB site for the first time and you go around the corner and that greets you, you shit yourself.
You do though. I've got one at my local site. He's probably well over 6.5 foot. He's ridiculously tall. And I don't know. He loves watching the podcast, but you'll know it is. He is so quiet and so fast. It is unreal. He just appears from nowhere, but he's standing over you. It's like, oh my god. But it's most brilliant as people. It's just, I can't rate Airsoft enough. You get some amazing people, and I've made a lot of good friends through it as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Especially you guys, my new family.
What was it? So the Norwich event at Proving Grounds, I think was it end of March. I think I had 5 Delta Armory rifles on me, and I think all of them went out to players. And I think I stood out for the last 45 minutes of the day.
Yeah.
Everyone's running around with guns. So it's like,
I've done it. I've gone in. I've tried it, especially if like someone's gun's gone down and they're disappointed. You could just see it because they don't. You're new to airsoft. Even still, I make mistakes. To be fair, and I forget stuff. But you don't think. You think, oh, I've bought this pistol. It's going to be brilliant. We're never going to have an issue. And then all of a sudden, you play a game and it's not working. And I'll be like, yeah, look, use that. It's like, don't worry. They're like, oh, you sure? Like,
yeah, exactly. Big smile on their face. Yeah. And they come back next time and they're still thanking you from the.
But that's again with the rentals. You need them sort of guns that are going to give them that smile on their face when they shoot them. Yeah. You need to. It sounds like you need to get them hooked.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. I've been playing for 16 years and I still love it. I still turn up thinking I'm a 14, 15-year-old kid, and it's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I still got to go to work Monday morning and remember that I've got to sell it all. But I mean, Sundays. But no, it's amazing. The community
when you're selling them because you're a player.
It's been
you're not just some random guy who's come in and doesn't know anything about airsoft and then is trying to sell things.
Yeah. And some of the whole community that they've set aside, the whole community with shops and sites is also phenomenal. Like there's some like Dave that's been talking, guy for cannot remember his name now, South House Airsoft. We talk once a week. Dave is almost every other day because we can have a bit of catch up and stuff like that. There's an amazing community of people. I still act like a 14. There you go. Dave said it. I act like a 14-year-old kid when I play. I still laugh and make silly noises and roll around. I love it. It's brilliant.
That's why I know where Adam is all the time. If you can hear giggling, I'm like, oh, it's over there.
I've been playing
I can't say
21 years, maybe ish. I still giggle like a schoolgirl when I've got like 2 or 3 kills in a row.
Oh yeah.
I do, even when I get shot, like I think they're finally sus with me at the site. Like when I get shot, I might not shout hit straight away. I laugh. I've got a root. For some reason, the more it hurts, the more I laugh.
Chesney
Oh, yeah,
Adam
always
and his cat
meowing.
sounds.
Yeah.
I was still
And then
like
like the poor kid is like, is there a cat in here?
still like a giddy girl when something new turns up in the post.
Yeah.
Even though I ordered it, I've got my own money. I don't need mum and dad's
It
pocket
don't
money
matter. It
anymore.
don't matter. It's exciting.
Well, you saw me get my Amazon delivery just
Yeah.
before the show with my new gloves, and I was like, "Oh, it's my new gloves and like my new grip for my AK," and it's like it's straight on it.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, still love it. Absolutely love it to pieces.
Cool. I think we'll call it a night there. With regards to this, it's been great to have you on to talk about Delta.
No, it's been really good.
And yeah, definitely something that I'm going to look into at some point, even if it's just as another rental eventually. Let's get a few big purchases out of the way and then we'll go from there.
Fair enough.
Thanks for your time, Dom, for coming on. Where can people find you?
It's a bit of a difficult one. So if you want to contact me through, or if you're a site, I'll get in contact with you. But if you want to follow me, I am Delta Armory Dom on Facebook. Come and join. I post up every week or so with either new products and conversation starters. Be happy to talk to anyone.
Cool. Adam and AD, Cares, they all know where to find you by now, I'd hope. From the sounds of it, Kez is about to get murdered by a flock of seagulls.
No, here they come. They're coming. You've jinxed it. They've done really well.
I feel like someone stood outside your house with a handful of bread and just thrown it up on the roof as they all appear.
It's just this time. To be fair, I have actually now started doing TikToks as well.
Cool.
Yeah, they're like,
really sad like that.
Yeah, we really need to start editing these episodes and getting some bits out after them again.
You got some shorts, man. Some funny clips coming up.
Yeah. Nah, I don't have the time to
be
edit
fair,
those.
that's all I do mine for is just the giggles.
Yeah, memes.
Seagulls doing TikToks. just sit there recording them. It's fine.
I've got a really good idea for some airsoft tech tips, and on that bombshell, we'll call it a night. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're at the charity game at South Hearts at the weekend, we'll see you there. All 4 of us will be there.
You won't miss our banner or our flag or whatever we're going to end up putting up.
Oh, yeah. Just listen for our laughs. You'll know exactly where we are.
Yeah. Listen for me doing my best farmer accent.
Oh, you can try, mate. You can try. You track there.
Just rocking up like, what our job.
Yeah.
Just running up.
But yeah, other than that, take care of each other, take your hits, and don't be a dick. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. Who do we have in 2 weeks' time?
Somebody.
That one.
Come on, you're the secretary.
Dan, but I might have made that up.
I think it is Dan.
Who?
Dan.
Who?
I don't have the...
Dan
the man.
Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, Dan Airsoft.
Yeah,
Cool.
Yes, Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
There you go.
How could we forget Dan?
I've just told you that.
So we'll see you guys next time. South Hearts Airsoft, and they're going to save us VIP parking. Thank you very much, kind sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks' time.